Good morning and welcome to the Morning Scoop for Friday, January 1st, 2021. We made it, friends. Welcome to the future. I'm Tom Orr, here with Tony Gerdeman here in New Orleans. The Clemson game in the 2021 Sugar Bowl is today. The game against Michigan, 330 days away. We don't have time to talk about Michigan today. It is time for Clemson. Let us talk about Clemson. This has been a game that has been a year in the making. I think the Ohio State players walked out of that stadium in Glendale, Arizona, a little over a year ago, thinking, we just need another shot at Clemson. I think you and I probably walked out of that stadium going, I bet we see these two teams play again in a year. It has felt like it's been coming towards this, and then a whole bunch of other stuff happened. And yet, here we are.
Yeah, I think I recall talking to our buddy Matt Connolly after the last year's game saying, hey, see you next year. Because it just felt like that wasn't going to be the end of it. Or not that they were necessarily on a collision course, but that they would find each other in the future. But it kind of did become a collision course. And Ohio State was focused on getting back to a spot where they could play Clemson. And Chris Olave, the season ending the way it did for him and Justin Fields, knowing that they let that one go. They let that one get away from them. The entire team did. They came back wanting a game against Clemson, and that drove them. That drives them into spring practice, and then spring practice gets shut down. But they're still ongoing. They're still training. They're still focused on the season, because the idea is you're still playing for a national championship. Clemson's going to be there, and then the season gets canceled. And then
that was a thing.
And then the focus changes to, well, even before that, the focus changes to like the pandemic, everything that's going on, and maybe it's not such a focus on Clemson. But then the season gets restarted, and there's new life there, and then the focus is back on Clemson. And so you're playing that, and then games get canceled. Game gets canceled here. All the while, they're still off in the distance. Clemson. Today, finally, after a year of wanting it, not getting it, having a season canceled, having it reinstated, having people say you shouldn't be here, including Clemson's head coach Dabo Swinney. Now you're here. Now you can reach that goal, gain some sort of vengeance, if that's what this is all about, prove to everybody that you belong, including Clemson's head coach, who says you shouldn't be here.
Yeah, and that's kind of the macro version. There's a bunch of little micro stories, too. Justin Fields did not play real well in that Clemson game last year. He has a chance to avenge that loss. His only loss as a starting quarterback is Ohio State. He has a chance to, probably make a nice little statement for NFL draft scouts as well. Chris Olave had that one play at the end of the game, just broke off that route. That was it. That was the game. That was the season. He was as inconsolable in that locker room as I have ever seen any football player. That was a devastating loss to him. And then it looked like he wasn't going to get a chance to avenge it because they weren't going to play a season. And now they're playing. And then, will they get it? Will they have enough games to make the playoff? Okay, they did. But wait, Chris Olave has COVID and has to miss a game. And if you start doing the math, is he going to be able to play the Clemson game or not? He's playing. So, it would have been a real bummer for him to have gone through all of that and then, oh, sorry, you're still in the Big Ten's contract window, and so he gets his chance now tonight. There are so many interesting stories that have a possibility of being written, and it's like, if they win, that's one really interesting narrative arc. If they lose, that's a whole different story. It's also that's a pretty interesting, does this become one of the great tragic what ifs of Ohio State football?
Well, and if they win or lose, I don't think that's the end of the story. Now, if they win, it's like the end of a chapter. If they lose, that's just another part of the story, because they're going to play each other again. They will meet each other again, and we've talked in the past about the rivalry of these two teams, and having only played 4 times, 3 times in the last 5, 6, 7 years now, but recently it's certainly anytime you are as focused on Ohio State or on Clemson as Ohio State is, it has become a rivalry for Ohio State. I think there are some Clemson players who say it is a rivalry. Amari Rogers, a slot receiver, said Ohio State has more beef with us than we do them. Sean Wade said you have to win to make it a rivalry. And so it's been interesting to get all these different viewpoints. But when there are such stakes, seemingly every year now, with these two teams, and it's almost expected that they play, I think it is a new rivalry. And if Ohio State wants to make it one of the best in the country, they kind of need to win this one.
Yeah, you do have to win at some point. Otherwise, it's just hammer versus nail. Like it has to. You have to get over the top at some point. They darn near got there last year. It should be a very close game again tonight. I think there's, I don't know if it's 50-50, but it's a close-ish to 50% chance they get over the top tonight. You mentioned the fact that they've only met 4 times in their history before. It's incredible the role that these two schools have played in each other's histories. Like just from the Clemson side to Ohio State, they've played 4 times. The first time, the most legendary coach in Ohio State history, Woody Hayes, punched a player after a late game interception, got fired. The end of his 27-year Ohio State career, 28-year Ohio State career, comes after the first ever time these two teams played. Second time they play, 2014 Orange Bowl. Ohio State has scored 35 points or more 342 times in their history. They are 341-1. The one tie came in 1978 against SMU. The only time out of 342 times that they've scored 35 points or more and lost, Clemson in the 2014 Orange Bowl. 2016 Fiesta Bowl, 2016 season, 2016 Fiesta Bowl. Ohio State comes in, gets shut out 31-0. Urban Meyer is furious. They looked completely uncompetitive. He basically says, this is not going to happen again. Fires Ed Warner, fires Tim Beck, brings in a guy from the San Francisco 49ers, quarterback coach by the name of Ryan Day, who no one knew about, had no ties to Ohio, had never been coached anywhere closer to Ohio than Philadelphia. And then 19 months later, he's the interim head coach. And 23 months later, he's the head coach in waiting. 2 years and 1 day shy of 2 years after he was brought and hired as the quarterback coach, he was officially the head coach. He had taken over for Urban Meyer. Okay, 1 day shy of 2 years. From that day, 1 day shy of 2 years is today. So he has a chance to win his first college football playoff game 1 year shy of 2 days after he took over the head coaching job, and 2 years shy of 4 days, 2 days shy of 4 years. That's a lot of numbers. This worked better in an article. You can read that article at BuckeyeScoop.com. Wrote about this on Thursday. But the little just some interesting symmetry there for Ryan Day. But every time Ohio State and Clemson play, they don't play very often. Every time they do, it ends up being this like massively consequential game for Ohio State one way or the other.
And the Buckeyes, Ryan Day especially, were devastated by that loss last year. Mm-hmm. I don't know that there's anybody in the program that wants this win more than Ryan Day, and that includes Justin Fields and Chris Olave. There's legacy. There is wanting to win your first national title. There is you remember when Ohio State went through the stretch under Jim Tressel where they couldn't beat an SEC team, couldn't win a BCS game, or they just went through a poor stretch, and they were just assumed that they were going to lose. That they almost beat Texas when
why boom no technique
exactly, and they almost got over the hump there, and they didn't. And so this, like early in his career, there's already this hump, and it's significant. It's a Final Four opponent, and there's nobody that wants it more than Ryan Day. And I don't, maybe no coach has done more this season to get to this point than Ryan Day. And I'm going to guess 70% of it has been off the field.
Maybe more.
And so just as much time as he's put into it, he keeps saying he wants the players to have something to show for this season. I think he would like something to show for it as well.
I don't think he would mind winning a playoff game and beating Clemson, getting the Clemson monkey off his back, winning a playoff game for the first time since 2014. I mean, that's not that long. There are very few teams that have actually won a playoff game more recently than Ohio State, but it feels like it's been a while. So, I mean, and it's very easy to look at the Big Ten this year and go, oh, they're terrible. Ohio State's only there because they only played 6 games. Ohio State's only there because the Big Ten's bad this year. Beat Clemson, and that answers all those questions. So, I mean, we are gonna. If you want to hear all of our thoughts on this game, you can go to youtube.com/Buckeye Scoop or download the most recent episode of the Buckeye Weekly podcast. We did about an hour 15 on Thursday night, talking about all sorts of questions, answering a million user questions. We're gonna be live with our buddy Matt Connolly, who's a Clemson beat writer, a little later on this morning. We will do that. You can stream that at youtube.com/Buckeye Weekly. Nope, youtube.com/Buckeye Scoop. We have too many brands. I'm so confused. youtube.com/Buckeye Scoop. Do yourself a favor, just go there and hit the subscribe button, and then you get a little pop-up that will say, hey, Tom and Tony are going live and talking about the Sugar Bowl. You want to watch this? Because it's just crap on TV this morning. You would rather hear about the game. So we'll go into a bunch of specifics on the game on there. Then this afternoon, probably about 4 o'clock Eastern, give or take, we're going to be live outside the Superdome to do a kind of like a final pregame run through on final thoughts, predictions, more answering your questions. That will again be streamed live on YouTube. Again, youtube.com/Buckeye Scoop. Just hit subscribe. You'll get a pop-up notification on your phone every time we go live. We end up doing half an hour, 60 minutes. Sometimes the listeners just keep us there for an hour and a half. So we're getting to the stadium early, so we have time to do that and can answer all your questions beforehand. Then we'll be inside. We will have, if you're wondering about the injury report, the availability report for Ohio State, that's kind of the big lingering question today. Ohio State's going to release that sometime around dinner time. I'm guessing 6 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Eastern, something in that range. It's usually about an hour and a half to 2 hours before the kickoff of the game. So somewhere in that range, Tony will have that at buckeyescoop.com. And then after the game, win or lose, always the most popular show we do, the instant reaction post-game show, will be back outside the Superdome because they're going to kick us out an hour after the Zoom press conferences end. So that's going to start real late tonight, real late tonight. The game starts at 8:45-ish, so it'll probably end at 12:30, 12:45, and then we'll have, then there will be 15, 20 minutes of post-game celebration or post-game locker room cool-off period, and then Zoom until probably a little after 1:15. So, I mean, we're talking maybe 2 in the morning, so, maybe...
Take a nap?
Yeah, take a nap today. But stay up with us. We love to, recap the game, share all our thoughts, share all our observations.
See what you guys have to think.
Yeah, see what you guys have to think, answer all of your questions. That is always one of our favorite shows to do. Man, that's a lot of talking on video today, but there's a lot to talk about.
Where you went to college.
One of the reasons. Yeah, this is going to be, sometimes you just get the sense like this is going to be a very consequential day in Ohio State football history, one way or the other. This is one of those days. This is either the day they get over the hump or the day the mountain gets a little bit taller and they've got a little further to climb, and the next time they get to climb it without Justin Fields and Trey Sermon and all the other guys. So, yeah, this is going to be a really, really, really fascinating day, and we would love to spend like a whole bunch of it with you. Resolve to spend more time with us this year. A lot of people say, spend more time with your family. No, spend more time with Tony and I.
You see your family so much, especially this year.
Exactly, especially last year.
Last year.
Yes, yeah. You've been locked inside with them enough. Spend some time with us, and so we'll have a ton of coverage at BuckeyeScoop.com all day. Lots of great written content. We've got a whole team of writers who has just been cranking out incredible stuff. Our Ask the Insiders board has been just flying tons and tons of great content. Let the people know about the very fun thing that we shared with our readers. Just a little change of pace for everyone. It was a big hit for some reason.
So Tom and I were invited to have dinner at the Pelican Club, which is a very nice and here in New Orleans, nice restaurant where you need like reservations and
doesn't have a drive-through on the side.
No, it's crazy. And it's 4-course meal. You order everything at the same time. I didn't know what I was doing. Good thing Tom was there to show me what to do. So yeah, it was fun. Had having fancy foods. And then, we wrote about it on the Ask the Insiders board and shared our thoughts and received tons of ridicule. At least I did.
Tony got roasted for his food takes. It was great. It was fantastic.
All I said was, what's wrong with a medium filet mignon?
We don't have time. We've already run 15 minutes on the show. We don't want to go that long.
And a little ketchup.
And yeah.
No, I don't know ketchup.
Yeah. So mostly we talk football. It is a vibrant, fun, active community, and there are nine folks on staff. Are we at 10 now? I mean, it is a very, very full, active community, growing community. Ton of fun. Our game threads on game days are always just completely bananas. So if you have been thinking about signing up, today would be a great day to sign up to experience the wonder of a Buckeye big game Buckeye football day on BuckeyeScoop.com. So make sure you check out BuckeyeScoop.com. Make sure you check us out on all of our podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify. If you just can't wait to hear us start talking at 11, whatever it is this morning with Matt, again, we did like an hour and 15 minutes last night. So you can find that. That's a Buckeye Weekly episode. So just search Buckeye Weekly or Buckeye Scoop to find that. We will have at least the post-game show, maybe the Matt show. We'll drop that on there as well as a pre-game show. I mean, we are going to give you so much content you can't handle it today. So because there's the other games today are not that super exciting. So you can enjoy that as well instead. So thank you guys for joining us. Happy New Year. We will be thrilled to spend most of today with you. So hope you guys can join us. Have a great day. We will see you. I guess we'll see you in just a little bit.
There you go.